Age of Sigmar. The end times has happened. The world has been destroyed by chaos, and Sigmar has travelled off and met a dragon. Weird shenanigans has happened, and 8 multiverses have appeared where all of your favourites have just about survived. Thousands of years have passed, and chaos have turned up into the multiverses, and are sorry, Kurt's just arrived some balloons. Come on in, Kurt, come on.
Age of Sigmar!
So chaos have turned up, shenanigans are happening as usual, and Sigmar has made an army of Greco-Roman lightning-riding space marines who are, we've played one game already, bloody hard to kill. They're really good units, good all-round units, and he's turned up to save the day.
He's the God Emperor, or King.
So we'll tell you how far we've got. We've built the set, we've had one game so far, and I'll let these guys take over and see what they think so far of the game.
OP.
Yes, they are indeed difficult to shift. 4-up save, but with a reroll of 1 from their shield makes them surprisingly more survivable.
So it kind of feels like plague marines, they're tough.
Yeah.
So the Liberators are your shields of your army, which seem pretty good, which makes sense. They are the hammer and the shield unit, so they're kind of your centre, which is actually pretty cool. They are the tough ones. These guys are your damage dealers. You don't want anyone going against your retributors.
Yeah. Each hit deals 2 wounds.
So we had one of these units go in and these guys only did 4 wounds, but they had damage 2, which does 2 wounds per damage.
So 4 hits, each one doing 2 wounds.
8 guys dead before they can even go.
Absolutely mulched.
Not gonna do well against that.
Yeah. These are guys who are basically slightly better quarters. They can really dish it out, but they can't take it.
Yeah. If you let these guys go, they'll hurt like hell. Yeah. And then, which are meant to. So what we found out in the first game is this army is really the Stormcast Eternals are independent. Like each unit kind of does its own thing and does well its own thing, but they don't really help each other. They just kind of they're there to. The only help they give each other is hurting the enemy from. Whilst the Khorne units in this one help each other by this guy gets your army moving, this guy keeps your army around. He's just a Lord, mighty general of Khorne.
Yeah.
Is your blood?
Yeah, by opening a chaos. This icon's actually referred to as a portal. By opening, it gets 2 abilities. One of which is to anyone within 18 inch doesn't have to take a battle shock roll, which is one of the new things they brought in, which is effectively the new break test. D6 plus number of guys that have been outright killed, not wounds caused. So forcing it on multi-wound models is more difficult, but you can ignore that. So you can, in theory, send in a Thresher meat shield unit, which you know is going to get clobbered, but have them still hold and pin someone there just because of him going, no, stay in there, take it like men, and you'll do fine.
What we found, and as far as we can tell this is totally legit, units that have shooting ability is they can move, shoot whoever they want, and then charge whoever they want, so they can really dish out the damage. These guys have a couple shooting attacks each, and then if they're good enough they can kill a unit or kill a guy, then just smash into another unit. This game, so from what we've seen so far, it seems really bloody. It's up close and personal. Much like another game we've played, but yeah.
These guys, like the imagery these guys give off is really good as well.
It's cool.
So they swoop down, they throw their hammers at some people, kill them off, they come back, they go in, smash someone up, and they're ready to move on wherever they need to, which is really good. And this thing is shoots lightning, the Dracolith.
Yeah.
So it's got in the shooting phase, it's not a shooting attack, it's just an ability. Just picks an area on the battlefield and does damage to people around, friend and foe. But it basically means this lightning beast is clawing its way through people, spitting and out at things, a constant moving thing rather than hit, stop. You know, it's a constant moving battlefield where everyone's involving themselves.
So this is a big question that a lot of people have, and we're not unsure about ourselves. Do you think this is balanced? And do you think there's going to be points coming to make things balanced?
I think there have to be points. Like,
yeah,
a game system without it doesn't really work.
Yeah, I can't see how, if they continue up with the variety of units they're known for, even though there appears to be no upgrade system at the minute, so what a unit has is what a unit has, there's still got to be something to offset, because if someone really does just turn up with, say, 20 of these guys is in the box, and then someone managed to finagle 20 of these guys, 3 of these destroy 10 of these guys in one go. There's no balance there whatsoever, so there has to be some point system coming.
I mean, it would be a point system or another system that is like similar to points, like you get a war scroll limit, which I can imagine. So you can only have so many units in your army, so you decide then, and then you'll have like a limit of so many models. Like these guys will probably have like a Because there's all these different like orders and stuff.
Yeah.
There'll be like a limit of how many of them they can have.
Well, these guys 30. These are just meat for the meat.
Yeah. So even if the points didn't come into the war scroll at all, but the points were additional models.
Yeah.
So a war scroll with effectively a base like this was free,
Mm.
and then you added on additional models for additional points.
Yeah. Because that is the other thing, as well as no points cost at the minute, there's no unit size limit. So as it sits, if you buy multiple sets, there's no way, say you bought 3 sets because you love them, I mean they are stunning, you could have one unit of 9 guys quite happily going around destroying all before, or a unit of 6 or a unit of 3 or 3. There feels like there's more coming, and it's just got us even more intrigued. We've answered questions and then just had 2 pop up. It's like a Hydra.
So if you get 9 of these guys, it wouldn't be too bad if you have an equivalent unit that could take them on.
Yeah.
So like say, these guys are pretty good, especially with their ability when you kill them, just come and fight you anyway. These guys against them isn't too bad of a match, because if these guys go first, they do some damage, these then kill them, then these guys go again anyway.
Yeah, I did like their ability. So because of the way the combat works as well, where it's I activate a unit, you activate a unit, and you go back and forth. Activating these guys first is brilliant because you get to do as much damage as you can, and then when someone does hit back, if they're killed, they effectively get a free extra combat round for each guy that's died, which is quite nice.
And because of their like buckler stabby things.
Oh yeah, the gore fist.
The gore fist. Yeah. They do damage even if they save. Because if you roll a 6, they do a mortal wound.
Yeah.
It's just a straight up wound.
Yeah, just really you don't roll to hit with a mortal wound. There's no rolling to wound. It's just done, happens, that's it.
As you come in for the hammer swing, he just stabbed you in like the side.
Yeah,
like
dirty fight. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So we discussed this during the game as well. Do you think that this is not a complete version and there's something bigger on the way, like a big rulebook or something?
It's like the start of a quick start.
Yeah.
Get into the game rules.
This is
will come later.
A skeletal one. I think it's probably the most skeletal quick start I've ever seen, but. Yeah, there has to be more coming. I think as we discussed, we're slightly concerned that it might mean bad habits because there's things we're like, well, is this allowed? Is that not allowed? But
I think the fact there is kind of essence of bare bones rules. It means like it's easy to pick up. There wasn't many questions just because there's no like there's like can we shoot? Like, there's nothing saying you can't shoot, so you just keep going. It's like we got through that first game, like even with people coming in and chatting to us about it, within an hour easily, and. These kind of look like fairly decent sized forces.
Yeah.
I think there's a few. You guys mentioned this is probably going to be like a beer and pretzels fun game.
Yeah,
this is a laugh game.
Yeah.
It plays very cinematically. It's like what they did with 40k. They wanted to make that feel more action packed and cinematic moments, and it had so much more of that.
Yeah.
You're playing it for the spectacle more than anything, which I'd be happy to see because I know Fantasy has its fans. I'm not detracting its bad system, but it was not one I particularly got on board with. I found it quite slow and cumbersome.
It was a pig of a game. It was very slow.
Well, this does have.
The 40k fan.
Yeah,
because it's the fast.
Yeah, but this has more action to it. You can still see where the fancy pedigree is coming through because units still eventually rank, and you have the patching of lines. You still have the manoeuvring round to try and do cheeky things, but. It just feels more visceral.
The really good thing about this game is it seems a little less tactical. It's actually really tactical when it comes down to it, because not only do you have the whole Lord of the Rings style re-roll initiative off at the beginning of every turn, so you can never plan, you're not really planning 2 turns in the head, you have to plan A, if you're going to have the first turn the next turn, and then B, what you'll do if you don't have the first turn
Very
next turn.
heated battlefield.
So you definitely...
Swift and sway.
Yeah. It definitely felt like from the game, with one game we've seen so far, is that these guys, these storm, sorry, what are they called? Storm Planet Sentinels?
Those flying ones are the prosecutors.
You just felt like this unit, especially this whole army, they can just do their own thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the Core Knight was all about synergy, getting things working on each other, combos.
So these guys are always good.
Yeah.
Like on independent, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, their linchpin is him.
Yeah.
Because of his general rule to allow them to effectively get around the breakthrough. So he's basically inspiring them, keeping them steadfast.
Yeah.
So once they lose him, they suffer a lot from losing people to break the break.
I imagine these guys are going to be quite a few points. They've got to be. If there's a rule system,
you're looking at
they look too
at
good.
least.
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't surprise.
I imagine these guys are like 70 points each, roughly. The equivalent of like fantasy.
With him, you basically have fearless, unbreakable Terminators who can be healed, which is it's just mad.
You can also summon down lightning storms, which this guy didn't like. because just does D3 mortal damage on a 3-up, and you -1 to hit.
Yeah, that's the useful thing. It's not just damage; it's the fact that there's effectively a flashbang and a high explosive all in one go.
Yeah.
So.
This guy's actually a bit of a tank. He's got really good arm save, 3-up. He can dish it out, and he gives buffs to your units. So what Jack decided was that all of his shooting attacks, which he can do before combat and into people in combat, was on that guy, and eventually did take him down.
So he thunderstormed when he was in combat with him. Just prayed to his realm, I'm assuming, or his god, like Sigmar. Hit him with a thunderstorm, and then he spit a storm breath out.
Yeah.
Lightning's obviously the big theme, and hit him and just took damage off him.
Which makes him a really torn unit, because on the one hand he can take hit and really deal in damage out, but to use his ability for the 18-inch bubble of I've already forgotten the phrase, battle shock tests, he has to stand still to activate because he's effectively opening the portal, so you want him in there, but you don't want to lose him because you'll start folding quick, because first turn that's basically where I failed. I was too busy moving forward, didn't activate him properly, he wasn't in range, so they just got wiped out. Else those two guys would have held for well, I wouldn't have lost that many guys, to be honest.
The good thing to remember is, so currently none of these guys are uniques. These guys in the story have names, but they are characters you can take multiple of. So you could have multiple of this guy with the talisman thing, so you can spread out so your army is constantly covered as long as you keep them up.
Yeah, and I think Chaos definitely needs that one in this list.
Piggy tack like a fire team, one's in action, one's getting there, try and do that one.
And this guy gives out buffs. And the cool thing is that the hero phase happens for anything else, so you can plan that bit out before you start moving everything.
Yeah.
So if you can keep your army tucked together before it moves off, you can put out your boosts.
All the phases were really quick as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
There wasn't, like, in fantasy, you did have half an hour sometimes with magic phase. There's nothing of that. Like, every character or unit maybe has 1 or 2 special abilities, but it just takes seconds to do. You churn through it. I'm pretty sure, like, when the guys do the next game, it's going to be half as long. It's just going to be work really a lot quicker.
Yeah, it was mainly just going through the book to find the stats.
Yeah.
The actual rules was flowing quite quickly.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah. I do think there's definitely we saw there's a tactical edge to this game as well. Like, there isn't just because there's a reduced stat line now. People just hit on 3s or wound on 4s. It tells you what to do. Your immediate forces are they just dumbing it down? But just from game 1, on these 2 armies, there is real synergies going on. There's strengths and weaknesses of units. Things work well together. It's going to be really interesting tomorrow, Saturday, when they're apparently going to release every rule for every unit in fantasy.
Yeah,
for free, which sounds great.
Yeah, I have to admit,
protect us on the battlefield again.
Because I've not played fantasy for a while. Tried Beastman. I love the setting, Beastman, Lisbon Escape, but I'm going to be downloading them just to see those 3 races because a force this size, as opposed to the massive bulk force before. I'd love to get a warband of this scale of each one going, and if this system keeps building on the promise we've seen,
especially consider this entire Khorne army is effectively what in old fantasy would be 1 unit. Of several units of that size of the entire army, which some people put massive amounts of people off. They're just like they don't want to paint for hours and hours on end all these units, especially when a lot of them were just wound markers.
It was intimidating, and that's why we unit fillers, wasn't it? Everyone would do that, but now you want to lavish the attention. You're quite happy to.
You can do crazy bases. In fact, they even just come out and said bases don't matter. Like you can have them. So if you want to play Age of Sigmar, but you're worried about having to rebase your entire fantasy army, just use your bases. Then.
Yeah, that's good that they put that in the rules straight away. It's like, don't worry about your base size. Yeah. So you measure now. I guess you're going to measure to the foot, to where the foot would be standing.
It just
or you go to the weapon.
From the model
around that sort of volume. So they sort of take up the space of themselves.
Yeah. You have to be gentle.
You could do bases and stuff.
So you wouldn't like measure from their wings and stuff. But as always, you got to play nicely.
Like if you're going to use a hammer, measure
set rules between yourselves before you play, like always.
Yeah. That's what any game should be. You should both come to like a social agreement.
If this is what the move to skirmish is going to give us, more dynamic models, because the other thing with square bases was things had to be particularly closed in, but these guys wouldn't rank up.
I even did the thing where sometimes I had to number models, so a specific way so they'd line up. So that's a nice change. It's day 1. What do you guys think so far then overall? Let's say give it out of 10, the quick synopsis. What do you think?
Slightly biased, and obviously I love like this sort of story of a game. Like the Stormcast Elemental was my style of art.
Yeah, definitely. He's a big marine player, so straight tick.
You've got flying angel guys in armour, you've got the hammers, I do love hammers, and thunder hammers, essentially.
They can be bright yellow
4.
when you paint these, aren't
This is an army of 4. basically.
It's going to be Imperial Fist in Connecticut Court, isn't it? King Arthur's Court.
Got Garmans, or mini Garmans.
Yeah.
Everywhere, essentially. Which is really cool. And then dragons. Like, yeah.
Yeah, dragon plus cross horse, cross dog.
Out of 10?
Just after the first game, I'd say about 9.
Oh, that's a lot higher than I thought. Okay.
Really like it.
You like it? Yeah.
Just after the little things, even because crazy is like, at the base game, it's like you can't shoot if you're in combat. The idea of these things going around with weapons, like these guys have got tentacle stabby outs, and the imagery of this thing going up, like smashing through its claws, these tentacles grabbing someone, smashing them up in the distance. That imagery alone is why you want to play.
And so, John, what do you think then?
Right, I'm not going to give up as easily a 9. I will admit at this point that whilst I still play 40k as well, I play it for the people I play on the system, so I'd currently put 40k 6. This, I'm willing to put a 7 at the minute, but I can see the potential for this to hit a 9. I can see a lot of potential. I think it's something I probably won't be an early adopter of per se, but I'm going to be watching very closely for the next 3-4 months. I've got some models from my quest collection that I could very easily put something together from the War Scrolls and keep giving it a go, but I'm in. If the promise shown keeps going, and they've got the technology for their minis, so I'm not concerned about the models looking bad. They've already shown what they can do with the freedom of being out of rank and file. Yeah, I'm in. I'm happy to see where this goes. I'm along for the ride.
Even just look at the basic troops and compared to what they used to be, they're incredibly detailed.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're basic. The ex-Marauders, now called Blood Reavers. Just look at the extra detail. Sorry, these Blood Reavers. I'll get the terminology down.
It's a Chaos Warriors, essentially.
There's so much more. I mean, to be honest, I might have to get some of these for another army I'm working on. But
well, I've been looking for an excuse to make an undead army, and this looks like it's a really quick, easy, simple to use system. Why the hell not? So I'm in. I'm going to give it a 7 myself for now, but that number's going to change depending on what there's got to be, there has to be balancing.
Yeah.
And so depending on how that works, if there isn't, that number will go down, and if there is, it will hopefully go up.
I can take an army of like
20 it does, guys. At the moment, it doesn't make much sense, so there must be more coming. But straight out of the box, I think hopefully we're going to replay this a whole load of times over the weekend. Hopefully Chaos will have some more wins. And then well, thank you very much, John, for your time. What's the name of your blog again, sorry?
I am currently spouting my thoughts on the search for gaming satisfaction.
Website link's going to appear here. Yep. Hopefully floating here. Hopefully got this right in editing. And thank you very much, Jake Shinto, Love of Marines, and everything that involves hammers.
Probably cosplaying one of these soon. I will put money on that.
So in Quest, I'm playing a warrior priest. So I might be a Sigmar warrior priest.
He's actually already asked me to custom write a rule set, which means I'm actually going to want a custom armor set with wings. So
I'll start off as this guy. I get me some wings and I get me a dragon drake.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with you, but God, when could we write all the quests?
Well, thank you for watching our first little chat. I was actually a little bit worried after we played the game whether it's going to be a positive, negative chat, a bit neutral. But no, I think everyone's a little bit excited by this.
It's going to be an interesting 3 to 6 months, but I think they can do it.
At the very least, give it a try. Don't try off. It's like it's
don't start
game.
burning your army.
It costs nothing. You can still play 8th if you don't like it. Give it a whirl. If you don't like it, you've tried it. You've still got what you love. Still sat there. You've nothing to lose.
It's always basically best to think of it as a Warhammer title, but not fantasy. Like it's set in the same sort of era and but it's its own game. It's its own breed.
I have a feeling that there's more to this coming. There's a lot more to this coming. There's Games Workshop being randomly really nice at the moment, giving people more information to play with. Balloons, bunting, they're trying to make a little festival out of this.
Or wristbands.
Yeah, wristbands as well, and badges. I think this is just a tiny taster of what's to come.
It should be really good.
And we all know recent releases, they love doing books. There's going to be something really interesting coming to support this. And I do agree with what the guy said earlier. This is just, there's going to be more to this to flesh it out. There has to be. Cheers for watching, and cheers again, guys. Thank you very much.